Hello and welcome to another edition of For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. My guest today is from Lantern Energy. Her name is Shannon McAvoy, and we're here to talk about winterizing your home, amongst many other things. So we'll do that when we come back, so stay with us. Welcome back to For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. My guest today, a first-timer on the show, her name is Shannon McAvoy, and she's here with Lantern Energy. We'll talk about winterizing your home, but so much more. First of all, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Let's sort of describe to people what Lantern Energy is.
Lantern Energy actually is an energy advisor. They are also an independent contractor. They do installation and other contracting work for the home.
Why is a place like Lantern Energy important for the typical homeowner? Why would they want to utilize the services?
Well, more than just specific to Lantern Energy, I think people are very much unaware of how much energy is wasted in their home. So whether it's Lantern or another contractor, what we can do for the homeowner is taking an energy assessment. People often call them energy audits, although I think audits are a really bad thing.
Yeah, it's too much like the IRS.
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
So I like your other word better.
Energy assessments, and what they do is they come in and they do a home energy assessment, and they assess how much energy is wasted, where they can save it, and environmental issues, which are really important to homeowners, especially with winter when we start closing things up.
Now, as we tape the show, the housing market still, really hasn't improved much since it collapsed. Is it more important than ever for energy assessments, just for the sake of saving some money and nobody wants to waste money or throw it out the window, but
right.
I don't know, in this day and age, in this time, are new homes being built, and are they more energy efficient conscious more so than others? What do you think?
You would hope so.
Yeah.
You would really hope so, but what we have found is that new home construction, whether the home is built 40 years ago or built 100 years ago or built 5 years ago, a lot of the same problems still exist. There's still a lot of air leaks. There's still, even with our technologies in windows and technologies in insulation, people are still very much involved in wasting energy. In a passive way, they don't even know it.
Don't even know it, yeah.
Well, for example, we had a client who had an energy assessment done, and works for the utility. And when he had it done, when they do this what's called a blower door test. They put this big fan in your door, and they depressurize the home, and it really exaggerates the cracks and leaks in the house. And the doors next to his fireplace opened.
Wow.
Why? It just a complete.
It was either a ghost or it was really
it was
not
airflow.
Energy efficient. Yeah, at all.
It was definitely airflow. And this is someone who works for the utilities, understands the drill, and it really opened his eyes. It's so like, wow, I would have never thought to look back there. So even people who like to do things around the home, and like you said, with today's home prices, people are staying in their homes because they don't really want to leave. Banks aren't really lending. So it's really a great way to save several $100s. We're talking, if you have an energy assessment done, up to $400 a year in energy savings, and that's not including the amount of oil that you're not buying and the amount of lights that the electricity you're not using from lights.
Yeah, it's interesting. People, can be somewhat cognizant of the fact that they might be wasting energy and may not like it, but when you attach an actual dollar value to how much they're spending, or wasting, I should say, that really more puts it into light, as a matter of fact, and it's like sort of a jarring revelation to them. And at that point, once you hear a dollar amount, that's when it seems like you take action, don't you think?
Yeah, yes and no. For some people, it's very much money driven. Governor Malloy just gave a big energy speech, and one of the things he said, which I always love using, is that the best energy that you can use is the one that you don't use. It's more than just that. It's also for those who believe in the environment. It's an environmental issue. Those who believe in their own home environment or really want to decrease the toxicity of their home, it's great for that. It's more than just the money. It's the environment and the comfort. I mean, if you think about a drafty house,
yeah, who wants that?
You're not only cranking your thermostat, but you've got your Uggs on and your scarf and your parka.
And your Snuggie.
Right? You got your Snuggie going, and you don't need that as much. There's a great house in Westport that is what they call a passive house. He doesn't even have a central heating system.
Wow.
in his entire house, and it's great. And it is always 72 degrees because he has great great analogy he uses is your house is like a balloon, and the more holes you poke into that balloon, the less efficient it is.
Yeah.
So it's no longer a balloon; it now looks like Swiss cheese. So if you take your house and you really wrap it in insulation and you get that warmth, you're using less energy. You're way more comfortable. It makes a huge difference.
So what you really want is to be able to have your house be warm enough where you could literally walk around barefoot, maybe with just your PJ bottoms on, but not necessarily be cranking the thermostat while you're warm in your house.
Right.
You know?
And it's a whole host of environmental issues. In the winter, we close our doors, we close our windows, we crank up the heat. With the energy audits that go in and they seal all the cracks and leaks, so you're not getting that air penetration in. And then the added benefit is in the summer, you're not getting that air penetration out. So it's only going to save you big time during the winter, but it's going to save you all year long. We have a great real estate program where we have for sellers and buyers where they're doing these home assessments. And it's really great to see that savings that you're going to pass on to the new homeowner year after year.
Now, when you talk about a few minutes ago about people being also environmentally conscious as well as the dollar saved, you see maybe a few more green houses being built, more green conscious as well. Does that play a role in as far as energy efficiency goes as well?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a whole host of things when you're green building, which green is so overused.
Right.
I really like the term sustainability. You want to live sustainably. And it goes from
alternative sources, right?
Designs, yeah, solar. Not only Massachusetts, Connecticut just launched a solar program, Solarize Connecticut, that is modeled after Massachusetts, Solarize Massachusetts, and very creative names. And it's really gearing towards what not only this administration for Connecticut, but the past administration, so it's not Republican, it's not Democrat,
Right.
it's very
nonpartisan, right?
Completely nonpartisan. Really trying to look at alternative energy sources, because going back to what I was saying is the more energy we don't use, the better we're off.
Since you mentioned that, depending on the administration that's in office, even at the national level, are you noticing them being conscious of environmental issues, green, maybe kind of looking into people's homes being more appropriately in the winterized, but also for the purposes of summer? I mean, do you see what's going on there? Are you following along?
Closely.
Yeah.
This administration, the current administration, has been the most efficient when it comes to really advocating for alternative energies. I can't say to what the next administration is until we find out what the next. We can always come back and talk about that afterwards.
Sure.
But it's something that has really, in the last 4 years, I think it was mentioned in the debates that the energy, this administration has really poured money into the alternative energy. And if you do some fact checking, you'll realize that aside from a couple that didn't go so well, for the most part, he's really focused, this president is really focused on administrating into solar, geothermal, really finding alternatives than our fossil fuels, which are diminishing or we'll have to find more of.
Eventually,
so that's
for
just,
sure.
Yeah, and that's not whether, I'm not hyperbolizing, this is not a Republican versus Democrat
Right.
thing, this is that's just the way it's going
Just
to
a
be.
fact. Yeah.
It's going to be.
It's a fact that sooner or later you will run out of a particular,
Right.
So you'll have to come up with alternative sources one way or the other.
Exactly.
As we tape the show, we are coming into winter. We can already feel the coldness. So, we talk about winterizing your home, but when is the actual best time to actually do that? Is it before this time? Should it have been done, should it be done in the summer, spring, fall, winter?
Well, anytime really, but now is the best time, especially because you have a rate of return that would be done very quickly. Last year, we had great weather.
Hardly any snow. Yeah.
The year before, if people remember, we had really bad weather.
They were getting on their roofs and shoveling off the snow.
And I believe I'll share some pictures with you of some houses that you can see where the heat is literally rising up to the roof and creating this basically flat areas, what should have snow on it. If you're properly insulated, there will be snow on your roof, and there should be snow on your roof. If you're not, then you're going to see these patches of roof asphalt, basically, your tiles. And honestly, I don't want to see that. You'll see a dynamic picture of one house that has insulation, another house that doesn't, and the way that the heat will actually rise through the roof, melting the snow, creates ice dams. Another issue for winter.
A lot of people are saying that because we had such a mild winter last winter, look out this winter. You know.
That's what I keep hearing.
And even more reason to get your place in order.
Absolutely.
You know, as far as energy, not audit, but evaluation. Right.
Yeah, an assessment, and sealing those cracks and leaks, making your home more comfortable. Adding insulation is the best way, absolutely the best way, best bang for your buck in recuperating, not only saving money, but recuperating your money faster.
When you talk about, taking these kind of steps, how do you convince somebody? Because the first thing that they think of will be cost of doing this, but you have to convince them that the money that you will save will certainly be offset by the money you spend will certainly be offset by the money you'll save with your house being much more insulated properly.
Absolutely. Well, cost is a factor, but in some places like Rhode Island, the cost for an energy assessment is free. Connecticut has a $75 copay, which you'll recover very quickly with the services you get, or free to low-income eligible people. It's 60% of the area median income. So there's some really great ways, programs to do it. The things that you get back for it are incredible. Not only do they air sealing, but they give you low flow shower heads and low flow air and aerators for your faucets. CFLs, they give you free CFLs, and people. We can do an entire program on CFLs, but there's some really great value to that. You give about $750 worth of services.
For people who don't know what CFLs are, what are they?
The compact fluorescent lights. People call them pigtails
right,
sometimes.
Because they don't look like the typical light bulb that exists.
No, but you can get those.
Okay.
In places that I know that my kids are going to run around and break things, I will get the covered CFLs because it's just safer. But people probably remember when they first came out, they were really dark, and it took a while to heat up.
Yeah.
Well, they're much better now,
and
they're instant on. They have dimmable ones. There's an entire program that you can learn about what type of CFL to use for that particular area for reading. We get a lot of comments from seniors, oh, they're too dull. But you can get CFLs that are basically 100-watt equivalent.
Okay.
That you can read well, do your tasks, because they need that extra light.
So when people buy those particular light bulbs, it's not based on wattage normally, like the old bulbs were 75, 100?
No, they have wattage equivalents.
Okay.
So you can read them. You can go to any of your home stores and grab someone and say, what do I need to use? And they'll tell you because, and another thing that most people don't know about CFLs is they're recyclable, and our regular incandescent bulbs really aren't.
Yeah, you just have to toss them.
Right. So, and then a big elephant in the room is mercury. There is less mercury in that element than there is in the tip of your pen. So it's a very minute amount, and the only time that you ever be exposed is if you break it while it's on.
Okay.
So, and if that happens, open windows. It's a vapor.
Right.
It will
get out of there pretty quick.
You don't have to get. It's not. It's
you don't have to call 911.
You don't have to call 911.
Well, let's take a break and come back. I'd like you to give out the website so people can go and learn more, and then we'll come back. Okay.
Excellent.
Can you give us the website?
Lanternenergy.com is our website. If you're in Massachusetts, Mass Saves is a great website to go use, and then Rise Engineering in Rhode Island. Also has a ton of information.
All right, we'll put a graphic up on the screen too. Shannon McAvoy, she is from Lantern Energy, and we've got a lot more to get to, so we will when we come back. I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Stay with us. Welcome back to For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. Shannon McAvoy is my guest today on the show, and hope you're enjoying this. Not just about winterizing your home from Lantern Energy, but just sort of a whole range of things for your home safety. Let's talk about safety as far as getting involved in sort of an energy evaluation. Home safety is certainly very important. So how do you want to approach that?
Well, one of the nice things about having an energy assessment done is that when they look at the home, and we were talking about the home being a whole home system,
Right.
they really look at everything. They look at if CO2, if there's mold, asbestos, vermiculite, all these products that we'd used in the past, especially in the Northeast. We have a lot of really old homes. It's one of the things I love about being out here, originally from California.
Right.
We don't have that
There's
kind of history.
Nothing old out there at all.
No, nothing at all. So it's really important to have these things checked, especially as you're closing up your home. Carbon monoxide, huge, huge thing. If you haven't had your furnaces checked, please have them cleaned and checked every single year. Around this time is great when people are starting to turn on their furnaces. We got a little bit of a cold snap there last week. And I know everyone was saying that they turned their heater on. Have them checked every single year, just for safety. And you can even have the gas company come out and check if you suspect gas or CO2. Buy a carbon monoxide detector and plug it into your wall if you don't have them built into your system.
The thing about New England, though, is you can turn the heat up one day and the next day you're back to wearing your flip-flops again. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
When you talk about carbon monoxide, there's also houses in New England that have the garage built into the house, and that's always somewhat of a little bit more of a danger, only because the carbon monoxide could be an issue in that case. You know?
Well, yeah, but code says that you need to have a barrier. Okay. So especially the newer homes, the older homes definitely have a CO2. It costs nothing. Some fire departments actually will give them to you. Smoke detectors, also check smoke detectors twice a year.
When you set your clock back or
set your clock,
yeah.
Spring forward, fall back. Definitely check your.
How about radon? Is that an issue?
Well, radon's funny because radon has been made a big deal. It's a naturally occurring gas. It's you have radon in your granite countertops.
It depends on where you build your house too. It's going to come up out of the ground.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So these home assessments really go from basement to attic. They check everything, including your appliances, how old your appliances are, how much attic you have. We've had things where we've gone into attics and been met by raccoons. So it's just probably not who you really want living with you.
But that's not a safety issue at all. You know?
Oh no, bats.
Bats, yeah, that's big.
Bats are great. I love bats. I have a thing for bats, but they're really not who you want to be living with.
No, let them do their own thing. When it comes to energy audits, does it affect your insurance at all? The better you, obviously, if you can come in and inspect and see what needs to be done, make the effective upgrades that you need. Does it affect insurance at all, homeowners insurance?
No, it doesn't, not as far as I know. But I think it will affect your comfort in your home. And I believe that I would love to believe, but I would love to get at this independently from real estate agents, is that I believe it affects the value of your home. Because if you're comparing apples to apples, and this apple's saving you $500 a year over this apple, I'm going to take this apple.
Yeah. The real estate agent would need to find a way to kind of tout that, the laurel of the house that is much more energy efficient, and say, hey, listen, maybe this house is the same price or maybe a little bit more, but think about the energy savings that you'll have because of how this house has been, wrapped in insulation or whatever you want to do with it.
And some real estate agents and some real estate companies have really taken the bull by the horns on that and doing that. Just that, they're saying we are actively encouraging both sellers and buyers to have this done, because not only is it going to save you money while you're living here, but it's a great marketing tool for the next home. And I've had a lot of feedback. I've worked very closely with realtors very specifically on that issue.
Can renters take advantage of energy audits?
Absolutely.
And condo owners, how would they be different?
Condo owners is different. We do a lot of multifamily, and those are great. Go in there. We do energy assessments on every single unit. Renters, all you need is permission from the landlord. You're the one who's paying the bill. You should be saving the money.
And you're probably paying the heating bill too.
Exactly. You're paying your light bill. You're paying your heating bill. Lights alone can go up to 9% of your utility costs. So, and raise your temperature 11 degrees in the summer. If you have the lights on and you're getting kind of hot, you turn off your lights. But the renters can. Condos, homeowners associations, if they come to us, because there's so many owners, if there's an agreement, there was a great project done in Norwalk where these condo owners, there were, I think, 167 units, where they decided, yes, this is something that we want to do. They got the association involved. The association said, absolutely, let's do this. And now they're all much better off for it.
When I was thinking, when you were talking about renters a second ago, and lights are X amount of a percentage of your bill, you know, as we move on in society these days and more technology is in our homes, everything that's plugged in is like on standby. So
Yes.
technically it's still grabbing current, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's called, technically it's called phantom load, but I like to call it vampire power. And right before Halloween, that's
Yeah.
really great.
Good point.
We have a really great, the Neighbor to Neighbor Energy Challenge created, which is a nonprofit organization here, got a grant from the DOE on the Department of Energy on doing energy efficiency education outreach in Connecticut, and they put together the cutest vampire energy to teach the kids on what phantom load is. Anything that has a light that can be plugged in
Absolutely.
is drawing power.
TV, video game, laptop.
But there's things you can
You
do
know?
for that, and the homeowners simply can go. There are things called smart strips, and what they do is they're power strips that have a plug that you can keep things on all the time, but then they have this whole host of plugs that turn off after they're not in use. And it's a really great way to save and reduce power, or simply unplug it, especially if you're going away on vacation.
Absolutely, yeah.
Programmable thermostats is another
You should
simple thing.
Unplug, you know, why do you need your modem and router on if you're going to be away for a week? Just unplug it from the wall and your, you know, video game consoles. You talk about smart strips. Well, everyone who has a smartphone today, those things need to get you know, recharged a lot more often than old phones because, you know, it's using so
drawing
much
so
more
much
power.
power, yeah.
You touched on something very interesting when you mentioned Halloween. What about energy efficiency and safety, like around the holidays, Christmas, when everybody's got extra lights or their decorations are outside? Not just Christmas, but even more so then.
Yeah, the little white lights that everyone loves, I love them too. I really do. Go touch them. They're burning hot.
Oh man.
The LEDs, there's some really fun LEDs. They draw 1/7 of the power of the little white lights, which we all love and we're used to. People may or may not like the color. I personally like it. I like that little blue hue.
It's a little different too.
It is.
You know?
It is.
If everybody on your
But it
street
saves a
has
ton of
white
energy.
lights.
Think of everyone who decorates their homes for the holiday, and you leave those Christmas lights on 11 hours. It draws a lot. And I provided a graphic that you guys can show that really shows a breakdown of energy use in the typical home. But lights are a huge one during the holiday. And then we have people who are having parties, doors are open.
Oh yeah, or just because so many people are coming and going, the door is going to be open nonstop anyway.
Right, and you mentioned vacation, a programmable thermostat, and actually program it.
Right.
Yeah, there's so many people who
You
have
know,
the
you can
program.
use your smartphones for those things now. You can set it so
Yeah,
that it
I
starts
want one
to
of
warm
those.
up before you get home. You know, have it
Yeah.
go down while you're asleep at night. It's good stuff.
Great point by you is sleep at night. When I'm away from home, I have my thermostat programmed for 55 degrees. There's really no need to have it more than 55 degrees. Some people can even go lower. Your pipes aren't going to freeze, and it's not too much to have your home heat back up when you get home. When I'm asleep, I know I keep my house around 68 when I'm up and around. At night, I drop it down to 65, and that's still very comfortable with me. I mean, if most of us have these big down comforters and we have electric blankets, which I don't advocate, but there's a lot of things that you can do. Just the power savings in that is huge when you're not home all day.
You know, when you get into fall and you start to feel the chill in the air, there's always this conversation with people at the water cooler at work about when do you turn your heat on? When do you wait till, you know, November 1st, December 1st? How long can you hold out? Obviously, it depends on that fall that you're in and how cold it gets.
And there's an economy value to that as well. I know that a lot of the elderly are people who are on fixed income, wait as long as they can because they can't afford it. But there is fuel assistance, Operation Fuel here in Connecticut. So there is fuel assistance. I encourage people to look at. It's really to the individual. I like it colder. If I'm going to be cold, I'm going to live here on the East Coast.
You're
I'm
in
gonna,
the right region for
I
that.
want that region. But yeah, I think that's really into the individual. I highly encourage people who are not well, who are sick, or got a cold. Don't save that penny right then and there. You really need to stay healthy, but make sure your environment is healthy too. The filters are changed on your furnaces. That you had your furnace checked. You have your carbon monoxide detectors in there. That you have all these elements layering up so that not only you can bundle up, but you can be safe.
Real quick before we run out of time, and I know you talked about it at the beginning of the show, is energy efficiency as much of a concern, should it be for a person in the summer as well?
Oh, absolutely. All these energy assessments that you do, if you call us up and you say, hey, I want to have one done, it's going to help you save money all winter long. Oil is at $4 a gallon. Not to mention our gasoline for our cars. Right. It's going to save you all winter long, all summer long as well, because the air conditioning will be used less, right, or your home will be insulated from the environment less. Like going back to that balloon analogy, this bubble analogy, you know, nothing's coming in, nothing's going out as right, well, and that helps every single time.
Been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank
Shannon
you so
McAvoy
much.
from Lantern Energy. I'd like to have you come back soon,
I'd
too.
love to. Thank you so much for
having me. We'll put the graphic up on the screen for their websites one more time. I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Thank you for being with us today. We'll see you next time. Take care.